Okay, let's begin. I am Lanice Antoine Shelley, and I'll be your host through constructive, healing-based conversations designed to illuminate the adoptee, parents, and the adoption curious. We center the topics around community, mentorship, leadership, and healing, so you get a multi-dimensional view that is ultimately empowering. These are the voices who could not speak when they were young. Hey y'all, if you've seen me on Instagram, I'm in my summer glow phase and I am unapologetic about it. My hair is luscious. Fun fact, I didn't start properly treating and doing my own hair until I was a grown adult because like many Black adoptees, no one showed me how to do my own hair. And because I love you all so much, I'm going to share with you my hair secret. I'm always on the lookout for things you'd love and things that will enhance your well-being inside and out. We Unique Cosmetics sent me their Moisture Lock pomade and scalp and hair therapy oil from their Metamorphosis line, and it's so decadent, light, and nourishing, fam. This has become a hair routine staple. It has a soft lemongrass scent that people comment on when I walk by or when they're doing my hair because now I have boho locks. They also sent me a 15% discount link for you to try their products and hair tutorial service. And Unique Cosmetics is Black owned and operated by a mother and daughter duo dedicated to helping the adoptee community. Check out the link in the show notes. And this is for all ages, fam. So tell your friends. So come on, embark on a hair-loving journey with We Unique World. From interactive workshops to premium products, they're all about empowering you to embrace your unique hair journey. Because remember, all hair is good hair, especially when it's healthy. Good morning, fam. How was your heart today? To be honest, life is full and my heart is a bit raw. I think we should simply flood our lives with compassion at this point. During the quarantine, I've started collecting plants, and I've officially become a plant lady. It's the small pleasures of learning my plants' Latin names: philodendron, Sansevieria cylindrica, croton, and watering them in the morning, spritzing them. It's the simple delights of seeing my plants flourish under my cultivation that ground me. I hope you've implemented simple activities that flood your life with joy. I will note that we use interracial or intercultural rather than transracial on this podcast because, as we discussed in the first and second panel, there is a different connotation with trans, meaning changing thoroughly or erase. And we are not trying to erase anyone in this family. We strive to reclaim ourselves, our stories, our identities displaced by adoption. We acknowledge the cultural exchange and strive to make this exchange mutual, healthy, open, and tolerant of all. Because as Dr. Maya Angelou so beautifully put it, words are things. Okay, now this is the second half of the two-part interview with facilitator of the orphanage I came from and CEO of President of Fondation pour les Enfants à Haiti, Gladys Thomas. In the last episode, Gladys revealed to me that we both were born in the same small town in Haiti, Saint Michel. And she also shared with me her path to becoming the facilitator of the orphanage I came from. Today, she goes even deeper and unpacks how she deals with the ongoing problems that occur while running an international organization. Here is Gladys Thomas. Wow. I'm meeting a lot of people, a lot of adoptees that are from Rainbow of Love Nursery, which was once Haiti Home for Children. And why did you change the name? And when was the name changed?
Well, Haiti Home for Children still, was the name for the orphanage. But an orphanage in Haiti, they have what they call an orphanage, and they also have what they call a creche, like a nursery. Okay, so you had to be registered as an orphanage, and you also had to be registered as a nursery if you wanted to do adoptions. So when I started to discover so many children, so many were abandoned, the ones that had families, some of them had families, and most of the time a single family, a single mother or a grandmother, and then all fully abandoned at the hospital. Then it was to create this nursery, and when we were having so many babies, because the orphanage didn't really have that many babies, that we didn't have babies at the orphanage when I took over. Actually, your sister Jessie was probably 3 or 4, the youngest ones were about that age. But then when when the other children that were coming, they were babies, and they were very fragile children that were very vulnerable, that if I were to be mixing, older children with younger children, these kids would never get better, or they needed more of my attention, more health. They had more health problems. I didn't want to even infest the others because they were coming from the general hospital. They were very sick. So that was the idea, to say, if we could even create a nursery, that way we would know. And then for the welfare also, we needed a name for the nursery. It has to be a nursery in order to do adoptions. So I was not doing adoptions through Haiti Home for Children. It needed to be a nursery. So Haiti Home for Children was not a nursery. So we created a nursery. And it was an adoptive family, that parent, she was adopting, and she was helping me, create this nursery. And so she gave the name, Rainbow of Love.
Okay.
So,
and you guys no longer do adoptions. And why is that?
Well, when a lot of the children were being adopted, let's say, your the time when you were being adopted, it was compared to now a very easy process. It was a very good process where we had time to really be with the child, prepare the children for, to meet their parents, tell them, since I know exactly where they were going most of the time, and just kind of have time with the children, get the paperwork. It was, I would say it was smoother, okay? You know exactly 1, 2, 3, what to do in terms of paperwork, and it was just going smoothly. And then after a few years, a lot of people started to do adoptions. And then the nurseries were just polluting the country practically. Everybody was opening a nursery. Wow. And then I realized, okay, there are a lot of children in need. That's not the problem yet. And then the government starting changing the laws and imposing so many things where it became almost like a money dealing business. And I said, no, this is not me. It looks today as if you're selling children. I'm sorry to say that. Where all these kind of things, and I said, I would hate to have one of my children adopted from Rainbow of Love would say, or ask their adoptive parents, how much did you pay for me? This is slavery. And that's why I had been stepping out while I had been trying to change things with the government, with the ministry. I have been a voice, but this country is so corrupted that even if somebody tells you yes today, they forget that they had told you yes because they are back in their own corruptions again. And I'm busy doing so many of other good things that it's like, if you can't change something, be an example. So I don't want to be in there. And there might be a case of adoptions. It's not that my philosophies have not changed. And that's why I am very well respected. And whenever I would walk into the adoption office. Everybody knows who I am. I do not pay bribes, and I denounce what's going on with my voice as loud as I can be, and I gain respect. But I don't have time for the fights. I don't have time to just go sit down, speak French for the full 3 hours, and nothing is done. I don't have time for that because, so that's why. Now, and I mean, we have one special need child who has an adoption process going on, even though things have changed so much that all I do is being the caretaker. That's my role now. It's being a caretaker because this child who is abandoned is, a child of the state. They can have him adopted, and I can have that request. But I can also, if for any reason the dossier is stuck somewhere, I can have it unstuck. Just going in there and said, this is what happened. This is the right thing, and I am into the right thing. And I'll have them to understand that I will not be paying bribes or going on the side asking for special favors. No, it's just the right thing to do. And I just think if we both agree, it's going to kind of work, and it will work. But it's not easy.
Absolutely.
So that's why.
Well, the human trafficking topic does come up in the anti-adoption world, and those adoptees that are very much against adoption. I myself am not quite for interracial adoption just because the lack of education from the adoptive parents' point of view. But that's the reason why I'm making this podcast, is to educate people and create more of a safe environment for these adoptees, because adoption is happening and it will continue to happen around the world. And you watch documentaries such as One Child Nation, and you see that people are abducting children and putting them into orphanages. And as you said, all of these nurseries are popping up because supply and demand, and it becomes human trafficking. So I think it's important that you acknowledge that and you put a stop to it, and you saw it for what it was and decided to take a stand. But you adopted Joffrey.
Oh yes, and Jeffrey was a baby. I mean, when I adopted him, it was so natural. It was just this natural thing that happened, and I really believe that it's almost like you meet somebody, and then you just like, oh well, I fell in love, and you find it was your match. So Jeffrey had found his family, you see, because we just fell in love. And I remember just calling my husband and said, this little boy is here at the center, and his mom she's retarded, and she doesn't even know, where she's going tonight. The baby is burnt, and there is problem, and we got to take that baby somewhere. So can I bring him home? And bring him home. So it was from that time on. Jeffrey never left. He was just 4 months old, which was so interesting. And that feeling that I knew I have. But at the same time, I question, is it because I'm Haitian? I had 2 girls, and the girls just welcomed him as if I was gone for the day to bring them a baby boy. So that's the way it was. And there wasn't ever a question. Where did he come from? How did I have him? It was just as natural as it could be. So I must say that I was very blessed, to really kind of do that, and then kind of work on the adoptions with no big problems, because, we are here in Haiti, and Jeffrey is this baby boy who just came home. Even when I was pregnant after Jeffrey was home. And then when somebody asked my daughter, oh, your mom, you're going to have a little No. She said, is your mom going to have a boy or a girl? And she said, no. My mom is going to have a girl. Even though they knew I was going to have a boy, she said, no, mom is going to have a girl because the girl comes from a stomach, but the little boys come from Africa. And Africa, that's where Jeffrey was. He said, if it was a little boy, it's going to be a girl because that's from the stomach. So to them, the boys come home. I bring the boys home, but the girls come from the stomach. So it was just interesting to see how they think of it. And that's the way it is. They are so close together, my kids. And I don't think Jeff would even think of that, even though I had him meet when he was growing up, I had him meet his mother, who was still, she's still special. She's special needs. Somehow the people that knew of the father introduced me to the father, because we didn't know who the father was. But somebody said, we know who the father was. And I was curious because I wanted to really I wanted to see Jeffrey in all of his character, to see exactly. He has his special ways, and so I wanted to kind of make sure that I could put all the puzzles together, that he also could put the puzzles together. So we did that, and it was fine with him. He saw them and just had fun when he was being a little tough. And when I met the father, and he told me of how bad he was of a man, but he had really been converted to really having his life norm, leading a better life. And he was such a good person to talk to Jeffrey when I needed to. And I think that kind of stayed with him, even though, whenever he had a tough life, but he realized that today, Jeffrey is in late 30s, but I saw the same pattern as his dad. He had gone through some tough times, and he also, as I do with all my kids, he knows tough love, because I do practice tough love, so, and I do that with all the kids. Well, they grew up, my biological kids grew up practically with the kids at the orphanage. So they knew everybody knows everyone, they know exactly how it goes. So, and today, I never even thought of that. Same with any other kid that would just kind of do something bad, or they kind of just had a tough time, in their upbringing, they become adults. We don't, it's in the past, so
Yeah.
that's the way we see.
Well, even though you don't do adoptions really anymore, do you still help people reunify with their biological families? Hey, I want to share with you something that has changed my life. It's more like my therapist. Why is she so important? Well, because I want to win in this life. I want to break through the carousel of stories I've compiled that hold me back, that keep me from expanding into my full potentiality. Stories of unworthiness, not enoughness, and even stories of questioning why I am here. I also want to stop dumping my unsorted feelings on the people around me and reacting with the same behavioral patterns that keep me stuck. Conversations with my therapist have made me more confident, clearer in my intention, and more centered in my spirit. That is why I am elated that we are sponsored by BetterHelp, where you can, from wherever you happen to be right now, match with a therapist tailored to your exact needs. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. Someone who you can text at any time and schedule online for either a chat, Zoom, or phone call. And if it turns out that your therapist isn't the right fit, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional cost. Visit the link in the show notes, betterhelp.com, when they were young, to get 10% off the first month. You need to click the link in the show notes in order to get the 10% discount. I want to see you win, beloved. Let's do it together. Visit the link, betterhelp.com, when they were young.
Oh, definitely. I am all for that. Yeah. I don't do like going out for research, but we had a setup that the families, the biological families, we keep as much information as we could of them, okay? So that should the child request, that we would have a connection. But it hasn't been easy for all of them because, adoption, we started doing this since 1981, 82. So a lot of these kids have grown. At that time, there was no telephone. In Haiti, it's not this address and this email address or this family. There was, even telephones, they did not have telephones then. So it's not easy. But one thing I had always told birth families is that, you know what? We are not moving from here. Wherever my office was in 1981, it's still there. You will find me. So we have a lot of families to come back, and we do updates on their addresses, on phone numbers, on family stories, So that way, if an adoptee asks, then we would be able to connect them. And we've connected a lot of families and children and young people, so a lot. And of course, young people, a lot of them have come to meet with their biological families, or now it's Facebook, they meet online. So there's a lot of things that they are doing now, so which is good. I'm still matching. Yeah.
Okay. So in the reunification of the families, that's great that Jeffrey was able to reunify with his family. Did he prompt that reunion, or that just happened by chance?
No, Jeffrey, he's a very easygoing young boy. It's like, you want to go meet your mom? And yeah, and when he met with them, of course, they are very humble in this little room. 5 to 10 people live in that little room. They offered him mangoes. Oh yeah, he had so much fun eating the mangoes, and we just sat there and talked. These were people that I really always appreciate, that family that really helped the mom, so it was just easy. It was a good thing. And I'm glad that he had that experience. Not that, and he never asked again. He never asked to go, or just like saying, I want to go, I want to stay there. When it was time to go home, I said, are you ready to go home? Yeah, I'm ready to go. And then we got in the car and go. So he's been as normal, as natural as he can be.
Yeah.
So, but that's that which is a good thing, because it might be because he probably will feel free to ask to go back, and he saw how I was with that family. It was just like as if we were just one big family. That's the way we were. So it wasn't a question of this is good, this is bad. There was no such thing,
Well,
so
I'm sure
I
he
think
didn't feel as much removed from the culture because he grew up in Haiti. He had a Black mom and dad, and so he felt very much a part of the community.
Yeah.
And so I doubt it's a pressing question as it is for some of us who were removed from the culture.
Exactly. I think there is a big difference, really big difference, and I think one of the things that maybe in the panels that even maybe, or maybe you might interview another adoptee who had Black parents.
How many
Because
times has that happened though? Has that ever happened?
I've had black families.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, my friend who gave the name Rainbow of Love, she's a black. They are a black family. Yeah. And they live in South Carolina.
Okay.
We've had other black families. And we've had them from France. Yeah, from France, from Martinique. We have other black families, and from the States, Canada. I don't know if in Canada I had black families, but I know in the States we do.
Okay. Something that as an adoptee, when I return to Haiti and see the orphanage and run into people that knew me at the orphanage, it's so jarring. Like, what's the atmosphere of when someone gets adopted? Do the children react to that? Are they jealous? Do you guys have to deal with the aftermath of that? What does that feel like?
Actually, I don't think we really have seen jealousy. The children usually, when we were doing adoptions, they would also already be registered also to be adopted. So it was like their time, it wasn't, their time hasn't come up yet. And so they would always come and ask me, Mommy, when is my white mommy coming? That was the question. When is my white mommy coming? But of course, the answer would be, she will be coming, very soon or something like that. Your time is coming. Your time will come up. Don't worry. So you reassure them that their time is gonna come, even if they watch other kids go. So it wasn't so bad that you would see jealousy. We don't see jealousy. I don't remember ever seeing kids jealous of each other, even the ones that were not going to be adopted. It was almost, you feel like, saying goodbye was always goodbye, and and we would always say, well, you send pictures, and when we receive the pictures, everyone wants to see the pictures. So it's almost like it. We have kind of a family life, at the orphanage. The kids, they know. I mean, at the nursery, the house moms are very attached to the kids. So it's it was quite emotional, but at the same time, it was a very warm environment, loving environment, that the kids go outgoing. It's not as if, oh, we can't wait to get out of here. No, it wasn't like that, And so sometimes some younger babies, they would cry because they only know the house mom. If they never had, because before, some parents never came. They only saw pictures, So, and some of the parents didn't come to pick up the kids. So it's kind of hard. And I know I had some families, some children that I traveled with to take them to their adoptive families. I would be crying and just bawling. I can't hand over the baby, because it was so hard to do that. But I know I always cried. I always did. But it wasn't easy. It's not something easy,
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
Well, I'm sure you remember everyone that left, right? All of us adoptees that left the orphanage made some kind of imprint.
A lot of them have big imprints. And it takes, right now, I have to kind of look at a picture, because we have had quite a few children adopted, and it's been so long. Some families have always stayed in touch. Others, sometimes, you never hear from them. I never, like we might get the first few adoption reports back, and then after, when it was no longer necessary, you don't hear from them anymore. And so that's one of the dilemmas that I have now. Now that I have 25-year-old adoptees asking me, do you know where my mom is? It's like, my biological mom is. It's like, whoa. I haven't heard from this child for so long, 20 years down the road. I have no idea if the biological family is still there, if this child has biological families. And a lot of the families, some of them have died. There has been an earthquake. There has been the hardship in Haiti has caused so many families to just go to the Dominican Republic. Some of them have gone to Chile, Brazil, the States. I don't know where they are. And then now, 25 years later, I'm getting an email because they tracked me down, and then they asked me the question. To some surprise, some of their surprises, some families I've found, but some families I have no idea. So this is the hard part when I cannot find biologicals, and I always tell the biological family that if you ever need any, they would come for pictures and stuff like that to the office. And if they come and then there was no picture, first, second, third, it's a trip for them. They don't come anymore.
Wow.
And if they have plans for their lives, life go on, so, and I have now some of the families that they had this things in their minds. Actually, I still don't know where it came from, but they said that they were told, and it was not just in our crash, in our nursery, but in a lot of other places where they say that when the child turns 18, they are giving the child up for adoption because they cannot take care of the child. They don't have the means. They're looking for something better for them. And so please take this child for me. And then they put in their minds that when the child turns 18, this child is going to come back to them.
That is what a lot of adoptees are confronting with their biological families. Every single one of us have to reckon with this dream that the biological family has of who we'll be when we grow up. And my brother, Sergo, told me that my mother wouldn't have given me up for adoption if she knew that she would never see me again.
Yeah. So that is something that they have the documents that they sign, or if they can sign, they put their imprints on it. They are told, that's the way we do. We have the social worker talk with them and all that, but it is the despair of not being able to care for this child and the hope of seeing them again. This is where this ties get mixed up, okay? I am in despair now so that my child might have, a better life for the next 18 years, even though he said, no, there is no guarantee that you will ever see this child again. Well, that's okay. It's almost as if I know my child is going to come to me when he turns 18, so I'm going to take my chances, because if I say no, then the child will not be adopted, but that's what I would like. Even when we would keep a child in the orphanage, they still go, I wish he could have been adopted, so they still really wish that. But that wish is to wait for that 18 years when this child would be an adult and have been to this foreign country and probably can bring me some money and take care of me. Okay, so it's all, again, some of the poverty, the despair, and of course, they are most of the time not having enough education to understand what's going on, not even to have an idea what the adoptions. They just figured, this child is going to be fine. They're going to be well. He's going to eat well. He's going to be going to school and be well cared for. But it's not so emotionally as, my child is going to have a new family, a new mother that's going to love him just like I do, or is it, so, and there's also where some mothers will come and say, well, they have a new husband who doesn't want to see this child, so because they want the man, they try to dissociate emotionally from this child as well. So they might come and just sign all the papers, and then you'll never see them again. So it's a pretty mixed deals when you look at it.
What advice would you give to other adoptees like myself who've been confronted with the burden, the financial burden of having to support their biological family's dream?
I'm not in for supporting biological families, okay? That's a choice that an adoptee can make, and this adoptee should never feel responsible, because the biological parents, they were well informed, but again, their level of understanding might not have been same as mine, okay? But at the same time, a lot of the time they will just kind of be wanting not so much a physical or an emotional connection as much as the financial connection. And it's all because of the state of poverty that continues to really overshadows Haiti, and that's not going to go away. Most Haitians that have someone in another country will say, I have a diaspora somewhere who is helping me. Even in the Haitian economy, the diaspora has a big part in the Haitian economy, because you might see a young person going to school and keeping up with the school and paying. It's not because they can pay. They have somebody helping them, but to pay that, okay? So I am more into, if an adoptee with this emotional connection can overlook the financial connection that is really what a lot of the adoptive biological family is connected to, and still feel like they could sponsor in any way, my advice would be, please invest in education. It could be for a brother, could be for a sister, but invest in education. At the same time, you have to feel that emotional ties to do it. Don't do it because you are being forced to, or it's being imposed onto you, or you're feeling any guilt. No. So that's my advice.
Well, that would be so helpful to many people. Even hearing you say that has helped me, because I've definitely felt the pressure from that. And about 10 years ago, I had to just cut off all ties, because not only are we confronted with the cultural shock of being assimilated in American culture, and then we hang out with our biological family that's very entrenched in Haitian culture, and seeing the monumental difference between the two, along with the awkwardness that we're strangers. They don't know us, but yet we're indebted to them as we are indebted to our adopted families. And so there's this constant pull that adoptees have to feel, because we feel guilted and imposed upon and pressured into loving or supporting or extending our energetic self towards this family that we don't know at all. But these questions are some collected from Facebook, and people wanted to connect with you, and I've definitely learned a lot from this discussion. I was wondering, and I'm going to ask this for everyone, is there a place in your life where you think you can apply more courage? Is there anything now in your life that you think, I can apply more courage in this one thing?
Right now, actually, I was talking about it. I've been talking about it all week, because I've been doing some food distribution to a community, because, and it's all due to poverty. But at the same time, I'm watching so much coming into this little island where the country is going down. We said we are already in the hole. They just kind of pouring rocks on us, And I'm saying, if we could imagine you are in a hole, they are pouring rocks on you, and you are making sure that you catch every single rock. It's not going to hit me. It's not going to hit me because what I have started, what God has given me to do, it's not over yet. So these rocks, they are for a reason. If I let them crush me, okay, then I've lost my courage. But if I fight back, we're going to climb even higher than where we were before. So it's to have vision, it's to have a hope. Your vision has to always be much higher than where you are. So I have not accomplished my vision, and it's not going to end until I really go down the grave anyway. So, meaning that the courage is not something temporary. It doesn't go with age. It doesn't go with the level of education. It doesn't go with the level of what you have. It's something you have in you that no one can take away. And if you can feel it, some people kind of don't dig enough to find out, and you can't do it without God. That I will tell anyone. You can find everything, you can do all kind of things, but without God, you won't do it. To me, I have all the courage that I can muster to do anything. I can talk to anybody. I can meet anybody. I can go anywhere. I can do anything, all by the grace of God. And I have done a lot. To Him all the glory. And that's the way that somebody, you will not lose courage if you ever had it. If you don't have it, go look inside yourself. Start praying and find out exactly how much you can put out, because it's not going to stay for yourself anyway. Are you're going to have courage and you're going to kind of turn yourself around 50 times a day? Go spread it out, because you're going to be touching people, you see? So this is the way it has to be. It's not just sitting down and feel sorry for yourself. It's getting up and say, I can. By the grace of God, I'm going to do this. And a lot of things happened. And never be afraid of, the thing is, never let money, never let somebody else, that think that, oh, this is never going to happen. Never let negative thoughts get the best of you, okay? Because you're going to say, oh, it's too much money. I can't do this. There is no such thing as too much money. If it's that much money, we'll do it. If it's that much effort, we'll do it. If it's that much more, we'll do it. And not saying I can't. So even in this COVID thing, like you're looking at Haiti, I was talking of the courage. It's like, oh, I might catch COVID. People would say, I said, don't even talk like this, So, and I always tell people, they come into my office, I have a problem. Oh, Madam Thomas, I have a problem. I said, go out, take care of your problem. When you solve it, come to me. I'm not, I'm a solution person. I'm not a problem person. I'm a solution person. So you go solve your problem. I'm not here to solve your problem, so that's the kind of thing. And you have to stand up and say it strongly, and that person who needs you going to solve the problem before they come back to see you. So that's one person that's going to do one more thing good in their own life and realize that, hey, I didn't know I could do that.
I love that, spreading the courage. And I'm a solution person as well. So I will be sending people off to solve it themselves, because bringing in the drama or the hard situation doesn't really fix it. But resolving it yourself it's courage. Yeah, yep. I love that answer. Thank you so much. And this has been so illuminating. Gladys, thank you so much for joining me. It's been fun.
Thank you for having me. Actually, I could just kind of be in a panel and really kind of be discussing things. We could spend a day, because so much has happened. But it's it's been very heartwarming to me to just see the, what a lot of the children have become. Okay, just you have grown into, such maturity, and what you are, really going into right now, it's going to be so useful to families, and not just to adoptees, to a lot of people, especially now there is such a, this racism thing that comes out. It's going to really speak to the heart of a lot of people. And I hope, many people will be changed. Lives will be changed through this, so don't give up.
Yes.
Keep up the courage.
Here are my reflections on my conversation with Gladys. 1. Adoptees are not responsible for their biological families. If you are supporting your biological family, don't do it out of guilt imposed upon you. If that is the case, stop and remove yourself from the situation for as long as you need. I removed myself for 10 years. Then after I'd done the internal work of defining what I wanted out of the relationship, I eased slowly back into it. 2. Instead of sending money, invest in biological families' education. 3. Reclaim your life and narrative, and only engage if you feel comfortable. I felt obligated for years, and it made me feel used and taken advantage of. Before you embark on a relationship, set boundaries by writing out what you will and will not do, then stick to it. And 4, be solution-oriented, which in turn will inspire others to do the same. That's it from Gladys for now, but I can't wait to have her back on here. What did you think of it? Reach out to me on Instagram at YoungAdoptee, or go to my website, laniceantoineshelley.com, and share with me your thoughts on the subject. And hey, thanks for taking time to rate and review this podcast. Until next we meet, go gently and have courage, my love. Another beautiful episode. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to my guest today. If you liked this episode, the best way to support me and this work is to write an iTunes review, a 5-star review. This helps us reach the top of searches and helps more people to find us. And if you personally want to connect, please reach out on Instagram or Facebook. And I have some great resource material on my website at laniceantoineshelley.com. So go on over there too. Until next we meet, go gently and have courage, my love.